ice cream, logical cream, flavors. Let's make a move, get away, what's your flavor? Tell me what it is again. What you like, get it twice, what's your style? Let's get crazy, let's get lit, let's get wild. Take you out, show you off, what's your flavor? Tell me what it is again. Anywhere in the world, take your mile. Show me the real, you go and let it out. Your flavor, vanilla minks on brown cones, rainbow sprinkles on your AP two-tone. I ain't about materials, is habitual for the...
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon, and we here on 95 South TV. Once again, I want to thank God for this opportunity to be able to come on here and have these great guests and being able to have this great communication and these great topics. You know what I mean? Secondly, I want to introduce my right-hand man, you know what I'm saying, the one that kind of put the sugar in the tea and the, you know what I'm saying, and helped stir the coffee, man. My man Jacob the Great. What's going on, fam?
What's up, man? Glad to be in the land of the living, man. We blessed by the best.
Okay. So, man, I'll go ahead and introduce, man, this young man that we have on here today, or whatever. I'm going to let you do the introduction so we can get this thing cracking.
Well, none other than Arthur W.R. Franklin. A great author, you know, a tribute to his literature is what the show is about today, man. And we're going to talk about his humble beginnings to where he's at now and how he's able to impact other people through his writing and his literature and through, you know, the way he speaks to them. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Good.
We're doing well, man. So before we get into your story, man, you know, we all want to know, along with other inquiring minds, want to know, who is W.R. Franklin?
W.R. Franklin is a creative. He just a regular nerd, movie geek, dad, boyfriend, brother. Just a regular guy, but okay. I love all things creative. I'm a dad of 3 boys, and whenever anyone sees my kids, they say, "Oh, those are just small versions of you." I have an artist, I have an actor, and basically a stand-up comedian.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody is in some type of form of entertainment.
Yeah.
Oh, you saying you have?
Okay.
Have all?
Okay.
You saying you have all of those?
Yes.
Okay. Got you. Go ahead, Jake. I'm sorry.
But
okay. So with that being said, man, let us know how your journey started as far as you being an author, man. Pretty impressive when you can put visual stories on paper and turn it to literature that people can read forever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting. And then to be set off in a closed space where you focus on your creative writing and the thoughts that's in your mind, you know, you kind of really bring them to light and you impact somebody else's lives with your writing. So how did it start for you?
Well, it started when I was a teenager. I loved John Hughes movies, Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, those things. And that was my favorite. He's my favorite director at the time. But I noticed nobody in any of his movies looked like me. Or if they did, they didn't have a speaking role. You would see the little black kid as the camera went by. So I was like, I should make something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I should change that. And then in high school, I had a friend who wrote a book, but he incorporated everybody like in our grade or whatever in the book. And it just got circulated around school. And I said, that's what I'm going to do. And, you know, fast forward, got married, unhappy. And I saw this movie, Sibling Rivalry. And long story short, with Sibling Rivalry, the woman had an affair. Guy she had an affair with died, but found out that the guy was her husband's brother that she had never met. And she got real depressed at the end and wrote a book to get out of her depression. And when I saw that, I was like, I could try that. And I wrote Urban Contemporary. And that was like 95, and I got it published in 2000. But the thing was, when I wrote it, I didn't know what to do with it. So it was just a stack of paper sitting in a shoebox under my bed. And by that time, I was in the middle of a divorce. And the person I was seeing at the time said, "What are you going to do with this?" I didn't know. We went to a bookstore, saw a sign about getting published, and I got published. And that's how the book got published in 2000. So writing it was kind of cathartic. It helped me deal with the depression, helped me deal with unhappiness like she did in the movie. And I said, I wonder if this works. And that's what happened. And at the time, I was just happy to have a book out. And that's 25 years ago, 24 and a half years ago now. And I didn't realize the impact that it had on people. Different people that have read it have, complimented me. And I was always Mr. Low self-esteem and said, nah, they're just being nice. My mom read it, God rest her soul. She read it and she said, it's really good. And I said, you have to say that, you're my mother. But as time went on and I did no promotion, but I, tell people how the book, they'd read it. Oh, this is awesome. You should do this. You should do that. And I just continued to tell myself they were being nice. But then after a while, you keep hearing the same thing. And like I always say, 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. It's got to mean something if everybody's telling me the same thing. So
right.
My current girlfriend is pushing me. She is an amazing like publicist. I'm the one with the PR degree, but she's the super publicist. She's pushing me everywhere. And she told me when she read it, she said, women are going to love this book because the things that you say are from a point of view that we never hear. So the story is about a DJ, and he seems to have everything he wants in life. And then he meets the woman of his dreams, but it's 5 years after he's been married.
Oh. Oh,
right.
That sounds like a whole TV series. Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
Oh, that's oh man, boy. So another question that comes to mind: is there a big difference between Wayne and WR?
That's a good question. I have never been asked that. I think WR is more focused. Wayne, because Wayne has so many different things going with family and work and creating and this and that. He can be all over the place, but if it's WR, I got tunnel vision. I'm focused on whatever my project is and doing everything I can to keep my distractions out.
I love that, man. So I knew it was a difference between, Wayne and WR. Because Wayne is the hometown hero. Wayne is the one everybody know and love. Wayne is the bloodlines of his parents, and the parents already had a legacy before Wayne was here, and the parents had the legacy through the grandparents, but WR is the businessman.
Right.
The man that inspires people, the man that makes an impact in the community, the man that people are pushing to turn his literature into TV series and movies and waiting for the documentary. That's WR. I understand.
Okay, and I'll get that $20 to you real soon for saying that, but that's
fine. No doubt. Icon?
Okay, we're going to take a quick 2-second literally break, and we'll be right back here on 95 South. We're going to get into some more questions. Okay, we back here on 95 South TV. So my question to you is because, well, first of all, I was telling Jacob last night on a side note, I said, when I seen your photo, I said, oh my God, he looked just like my uncle. My uncle passed away a few years ago. He's actually in the history books because he was the first Black county manager in Mecklenburg County in the Charlotte area. He held that position for over 20 plus years.
Okay.
So he was very well known in the area, and did a lot of great things when it came to civil rights and different laws put in place for minorities in different situations. But I
Mhm.
was just putting that out there that you look eerily similar to my uncle.
Okay.
But anyway, but anyway, so when it comes to the writing process, because me and Jacob, like Jacob, I tell you, my life, stuff I've been through in my life, I've been through a lot of different stuff, and I always thought about writing a book. So, what
Mhm.
is the process that you have to go through when you sit down to be able to even start writing a book?
Well, my process is, starts with whatever the idea is. Um, I'm currently working on a screenplay based off of the weird things that have happened in my life. And um, once you have a subject, at least for me, once I have a subject, and I did not mean screenplay, I meant another book. Um, but once I have that, I start jotting notes down. If something weird happened or something specific happened that to me seems unbelievable, but like if I wasn't experiencing it, I would think it was fake. I write that down. And after doing that for so long, after writing all of these different situations or happenings down, then I start to organize it. And being a screenwriter, it's easy for me to go, this is how it'll start. This is going to happen in the middle. This is going to happen at the end. And I'll have it listed in my head like a movie. But then I know I have to take what I see and hear and put it on paper so other people can see what I see. And that's the biggest thing.
Okay,
I write things out and take a lot of notes on my phone by hand, post-it notes or whatever, and keep it all together. And then once I have the time, or once I make the time, then I start typing everything over. And a lot of times as I'm copying my notes over, the rest starts to fill in by itself. And I'll just keep typing. And the next thing I know, I've got 5, 6 pages going.
okay. So as far as your creativity, when you do you take a lot from what you see out and about, like if you're just walking down the street or you're in the mall or at Starbucks or whatever, do you take a lot of the stuff that you see or hear in those situations and implement stories or help create your whatever your book is about?
Yes. A lot of times, I'll be, like you said, Starbucks. I'll be at Starbucks working on something and I'll hear a conversation next to me, or I'll see something happen out the window and I have to take a note and I've got, this could turn into something. We were watching um Dateline or First 48 or something, and the story, whatever the story was, the way they discovered the crime, as soon as I saw it in my head, I'm like, you could write about that. You could make that into a story. One of the people that I write screenplays with, he he would see things in the paper or online and go, Wayne, did you hear about so and so? I think we could make something out of that. And I've written a couple of scripts for him based off of things that have happened, based off of news stories.
Okay, okay. So what is for you? What would be the ultimate book for you, um or storyline? However you want to do it. If you want to do it in a play, if you want to do a movie, TV show, what would be the ultimate thing for you, like your goal to get to as far as that's concerned?
I don't I don't think I don't feel like I would do justice writing a play. Then again, I haven't really studied it. My son is an actor, stage actor, and he's gotten me looking more at things like that based on him. So sometimes I wonder if I could do it, but for the most part, movies and books. And the book that I was saying that I'm working on now, I wanted it to be a mini series type, like Insecure. I wanted it to be something like that. But the
Okay.
more I wrote it, the more I said, nah, I'm just gonna make this into my one of my next books.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. So how much of your personal life has ever been in any of your books?
Sorry. Urban contemporary. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the book cover. Urban contemporary. Basically, I took my life at the time and the things that I've been going through, and I, had took artistic license with it, because the main character, Chuck DeVille, is the top DJ in Washington, D.C. Huge music fan. I worked at a radio station in Dayton, Ohio. So I took a lot of the different things that I learned there and added it in. I embellished. Oh, and I also lived in Virginia, DC area for a year. So that's how that part came about. And then the female lead in the book is a girl that I met when I lived in Virginia. So I incorporated all of this together, based on what I was going through, based on the unhappy marriage, and everybody that reads it says, "Wayne, that's you." And I go, "I don't have a Mercedes. I don't live in I'm not the number one DJ in Washington, D.C. I don't know what you're talking about." But yeah, urban contemporary is basically all me with stuff on top.
Okay, so when you wrote that book, how therapeutic was it for you?
Oh man, that's like what I was saying. She did in the movie. She said that's how she got out of depression, and I started, and I wrote it all out by hand on legal pads, and I started writing, and then after a while, I'm like, okay, this works, and then I started adding the fiction part into it, and how things went versus how I wish they would have went. You know what I mean? So it was very therapeutic. The sadness, the deep depression that I was in kind of dissipated, and my focus turned from what was making me sad or making me upset. It turned to finishing this project.
Okay. Jacob?
It's funny you say that, man. This week, man, I've been going back and looking at everything that's been happening to Black people for the past 7-8 years. And a thought came into my head, man, of me or somebody else or whoever it may be, of a title, a Black man walking on American soil.
Oh, that's dope. I like that.
Yeah, I said to myself, the challenges that you face when you coming out the womb as just being a Black male. I feel often that it's so overlooked, and then when you come home and you got to be at odds with the person you lay next to, it doesn't make it better mentally or emotionally or even spiritually for a Black male. And so I just think that with creative writing, with a writer like yourself, there's so many screenplays in you, there's so many movies in you, there's so many TV series in you, because you write from a point where there's a layman terms of understanding. And so when you're writing literature for someone else to read, you definitely want to make it understandable.
Right.
And I heard you say you was a brainiac, you was a nerd and stuff like that. So do you feel like you kind of had to slow your creativity down sometimes so you can reach a certain type of audience?
I used to think I had to, because my book isn't really long, but I would see like an Eric Jerome Dickey book, and it would be like this thick, and I'd go, I'm not a writer. Look how small my book is, and look, I need to change this. I need to change that. And you guys seem to be around my age bracket, so you know who Rick Rubin is from Def Jam.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I've been reading his book, and but I've seen videos. He always says, "Don't write for an audience, write for yourself." And at first, I was, when I first heard it, I was like, "No, you have to appease to these people." But it's like, the best things come out if you're writing for you. Like urban contemporary, I wrote that for me, and everybody likes it. And then he compared it to people who create, say you create a movie, blockbuster, and it's amazing, and Die Hard, something like that, and it's this huge thing. But then everybody's like, well, create the sequel, make a sequel for it, and then it just, you get to Die Hard 12, and it's like, okay, you worn that out. I never wanted to write. At first, I never wanted to write a sequel to urban contemporary, and everybody was saying, oh, you should do this and you should do that. And last year before, I decided, okay, I'll go ahead and make a sequel. And I developed a storyline, and my girlfriend says, what is all this? Did you go through this? I'm like, no, but this is a sequel. I don't have anything else to add to that part of the story, to keep these characters. And she said, well, that doesn't seem right, because the first one was real. The second one is full fiction. So it may not impact anyone, but the book that I'm currently working on, called Chasing the Ghost, that's more personal, like urban contemporary was. So I don't want to dumb down, you know what I mean? I don't want to change what I do to appeal to a certain class or a certain group or whatever. So I'll just keep on being me, even though people have always had a problem with me being me. I'll just go ahead and keep being me, because that seems to work.
Okay, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. TV. All right, we back. We continue on here with W.R. Franklin, author, businessman, family man, all that, father, dad, the whole thing, you know what I mean? Script writer. I'm ready to see something on the big screen, on something. I don't care if it's on Tubi, Netflix. I'm ready to see something.
Brother Franklin, if you, how can I say this? Political, community, and family. If you had to write a book that stems from those type of things, do you think that that would be good for your creative writing and good for the readers?
I believe so, because kind of piggybacking off what you said a little bit ago, just you start off with being a Black man, and then go go from there into my community. I'm already a square peg. I don't fit in, and like I said, people want you to fit in, try to make you fit into that round hole. I'm not going to. So I already have being Black,
right,
being the square peg, and then dealing with that community, and then dealing with that community in that political climate. Yeah, I could see it. I could see tons coming out of that.
Right. And I just really think it's interesting because, right now you got the DOJ that's going after these landlords that owns multiple subdivisions, and how some of the rent went from $1,500 to $2,500 within 18 months. And so I think that's very interesting that the DOJ has stepped in when people have been complaining about this for the last 7-8 years.
Right.
So and then with that, you got the gentrification, moving the Black community out of the subsidized housing, the projects and stuff like that, and building the high-rise penthouses. So you almost have to be a rich Black person to afford that. And so with you writing that type of literature, I think, man, it'll give readers a different perspective of what you see in society and how you see society, and how this literature could really open up their eyes about things that they didn't really think about, because a lot of people don't have time to think about that. They just think about how they're gonna survive.
Exactly.
I mean, it's interesting that I hear a lot of men say, we didn't. My dad didn't say he loved me. I mean, clothes was on my back, food was on the table. I played every sport. He said, "I'm proud of you." So therefore, I took that as he loved me. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays, it seems like the kids have this anxiety, and the word no gives them anxiety and depression. And we didn't only get told no, we got told hell no, and go sit your ass down somewhere. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying, man. So
And
it's different nowadays, go ahead.
like I said, and also too, Jacob and WR. Remember we had the one young lady on Sacco and Stacy, and she was talking about how this is another thing the banks do is just that they think they slick. Now, when they do give minority loans or black people loans, they only give you a certain amount just so they could say, okay, we gave you the loan for like let's say for a house, but it still keep you in this neighborhood. So that loan will cover this neighborhood or whatever. So you can't say, well, they didn't give me a loan. Yes, we give you a loan, but it's not going to be able to buy you a house in the suburbs. You feel what I'm saying? So or whatever. So that's I just want to throw that.
Yeah,
that's very true. That's very true. And a lot of times when it really comes to us, because I don't have nothing against Latinos. You know what I mean? They come over here, they stick together, they do their thing. But it baffles me how somebody with no credit, nothing established, can go in the bank and get a loan for $10,000 or more. You not from here, you didn't go to school here, you ain't established nothing here, but they just instantly give you a loan.
Right.
You know what I mean? So things like that keep me puzzled. But back to your writing. So I have read a lot of Dr. Eric Michael Dyson books, Terry McMillan, and Sister Soldiers. So when you read literature from another author, man, what intrigues you about the author?
It's kind of, I guess it's kind of the same as, and I always go back to movies because I'm, like I said, I'm a movie geek, but it's like the dialogue is what pulls me in. Like, my two favorite directors are Spike Lee and Quentin Tarantino. And one of my absolute favorite movies is Pulp Fiction. And people are like, why do you like that movie? Blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, the dialogue, the everyday dialogue that's in Pulp Fiction, like when they're having conversations, it's just a regular conversation. They're talking about tipping. They're talking about what they eat in Amsterdam, just regular. And that's the part that pulls me in. That's what pulled me into Pulp Fiction, because the way that they talked is just like me talking to my friends or me talking with my kid or whatever. So the dialogue, the way that it's written, the dialogue between the characters is what pulls me in. Because sometimes you'll get a book and the landscapes were lavish and the purple mountains, and after a while that's going to turn me off. I'm like, okay, what's the story about? I understand you're trying to describe everything because I have to describe everything in my books, but pull me in. Give me something to work with.
And that's funny because, and I'm gonna do a little shameless plug real quick, Jacob. But so my son is working with a production company out of New York, out of Albany, New York, with a guy named Prince Ravi. They just did a biopic story on a young man who got shot and killed he was a high school basketball star. He got shot and killed at a party. And if you get a chance, I can have Jacob send you the link to it. It's on YouTube right now. It's called The Last Shot. But the thing that intrigued me about the movie was, like you said, it was just straight up dialogue. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it yet, Jacob, but it was just straight up dialogue. Yes, it was a lot of profanity, but if you understand kids in the hood in the ghetto, that's just the way they talk. And instead of him trying to water it down or making it, people friendly. He just said, no, this is what it was. This is how they talk. This is what it is. And when I'm watching it, I just felt like I felt like I was on the couch with him, on the room with him, and I'm just sitting back watching them go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And to me, that was and like I said, when you say about the Quentin Tarantino, Spike Lee type movies, that's what you get, out of those movies. Then, not the, I don't want to talk bad about Spike, about Tyler Perry, but a lot of his stuff seemed kind of fairy tale-ish to me sometimes. But that's no hill on that. Yeah.
And that's, to me, and like you said, no disrespect to Tyler Perry, but to me, it seems like that's him catering to his audience, and they're gonna eat it up. That's what they want. That's the formula. Okay, do your thing. And some of his movies I love absolutely front to back, and then some I can't sit through.
Yeah.
I think the realest thing he ever did Say again.
I said that last movie with the funeral scene. I don't know if you remember the funeral scene when they carried the body took the body out the coffin and carried the body out the church.
And funeral home, yeah.
Carrying no dead body.
Exactly.
My brother, my mama, whoever, we are not carrying or put a dead body out of coffin and carrying it out the church.
Right.
It was okay. Man, that was crazy. That was crazy. But I think when it comes to Perry, man, when it comes to Tyler Perry, to me, what I enjoyed from him the most was the have and have nots, because we all grow up knowing who the haves was, and we all grew up, knowing who the have nots was. But what happens with the have and have nots is always the haves that look beyond the poorness of the have nots and just love the energy that they bring or love their character or stuff like that. So I thought that was a pretty real, series, because we've all been around it. But when it comes to him, I think he's a great creator. I don't think he knew that he didn't understand how big he was going to get. And it just happened like sporadically, man. Like, because I hear him talk about it on some interviews. He was just like, I was just, creating a story line about my auntie, you know what I mean? And it just blow it up. So with that being said, man, hey man, he's did a lot. So, I'll say kudos to him. But I'm like you, I don't like everything he put out, but I think everything has some type of storyline that somebody is going to like.
Right,
exactly. Everybody gonna like everything, but I think so. So what do you think of people like, as far as I know that you are a movie geek, right? And so there's a few names that we don't really talk about anymore that was great actors, like a Cindy Portier, the early stages of James Earl Jones,
right?
I say, I got in. My mom and my sister was watching this series, and I kind of caught a couple episodes of it, and then I had to go back and watch all the season. I like the series Yellowstone with Kevin Costner. You know what I mean? And it's a pretty good, and I always thought he was a pretty good actor as well. So when it comes to your literature, are there any type of storylines that you get from like movies and TV series and documentaries and stuff like that?
Definitely documentaries. I'm a big documentary fan, and as of late, became a true crime show fan. Be depressed after a while, but it's still real life. It's still like you were saying with the documentary that you're going to send the link for, that they just said, here, this is it. You get everything raw, and that's why I like documentaries. That's why I like the true crime shows, because you're like, oh, that was messed up, but this is exactly how it happened. There's no embellishment. And um, between seeing things like that, living real life, living my life, it gets to the point where I'm like, if I didn't know that this was like with my life, if I didn't know this was actually happening to somebody, I wouldn't believe it. So when you see things like documentaries, this actually happened. It's easy for me anyway. It's easy for me to develop a storyline based off of something that actually happened that I was fascinated by.
and which is true because I was watching the Steve McNair documentary,
Hmm.
and there's so many twists and turns on his life, man. We thought he was a hometown hero from Alcorn State. Made it in the NFL, became an NFL star. Put HBCUs on his back and say
Hmm.
you can be a quarterback from HBCU in the NFL, but there was a whole nother side to him that we never knew.
Right.
You know what I mean? And dealing with that other side became fatal.
Hmm.
Because it looks like on the documentary that his wife and his family members had no idea.
Hmm.
That double life. Did you guys see the documentary?
I've
Yeah,
seen
I watched.
like, the trailer for it.
Well, I don't know if it's a documentary or if it was
Yeah,
like an old, what you call it, true crime episode. I think it was like a true crime episode I seen.
mhm.
Hmm.
I've actually seen a documentary, but I'm at
Yeah,
what
but
I want to ask.
it's on Netflix.
Okay.
Okay, I want to ask you this, WR. So because I know you said you did a sequel to your book, and are you
I
working
was,
on
I was going to, but I was
or you
going to do
going
a
to do a
sequel.
sequel to your
Yeah,
book?
but I got two other books that I'm working on now.
So what I wanted to ask you about
Oh, okay.
sequels, whether it's movies or whatever, like because they did the sequel to um Coming to America,
Yeah.
and most people didn't like it and the whole thing. And I said, well, the problem with people in the internet is that they're too much wanting it to be exactly
Exactly.
like the old one. And we got to think this is 30 something plus years later.
Right.
So certain things are going to be very different. And, the storyline's going to have to evolve to a certain degree. And I said, when they try to do so sequel, maybe they call it something else and make it look similar to, so people won't get so caught up in it being a part two and thinking it's supposed to be exactly like part one. Because a
Hmm.
lot of times when you get anything you do, part two of a movie, part two like if you like an album, like let's just say like like I don't know if you're a Redman fan. He just came out
Oh,
with Muddy
yes.
Waters too. People
And that is an
compare it to
incredible
the old
album.
one.
I'm sorry.
So anytime you do a part two or something, it sometimes never comes out the way people want. So
Hmm.
what do you think people do right and when they do wrong when they do these things?
Well, again, Muddy Waters 2, start to finish. I love that album. But I digress. Um, I'm not a big sequel fan because, and a lot of times I call myself a purist because of that. Like Star Wars, I'm old enough to say I saw Star Wars the night it came out in '77.
Mm.
And I was a humongous Star Wars nerd. Empire Strikes Back, oh yeah, that's cool too. Return of the Jedi, okay, but I lost. I mean, the storyline was cool, and I like seeing different characters, but it never hit me like the original. So whenever a sequel comes out, I'm really skeptical. Like, and you mentioned Coming to America, the second part. I liked it because there were things in it I found funny that reminds you of the original. Um, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know that I'll watch it again, but I did watch it when it came out. I laughed,
Hmm.
enjoyed it, and it's like the Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. I don't know if you have seen that. I thought it was pretty good,
Yeah.
but I mean, of
Yeah, me
course, it's
too.
not the very first one, but I didn't expect it to
Yeah.
be. But I was, I was pleased with the way they let it progress.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I like it too. The one thing I would say about Coming to America, what made it corny, because I went back and rewatched it just to kind of see why people thought it was so bad. The
Hmm.
only thing is, I just feel like Wesley Snipes needs to stay in his lane. He's not a funny guy to me. He's not. That's not his lane.
Right,
His lane is the drama. His lane, him
action.
trying when he tries to be funny. trying too hard. So that his character, I would have got somebody who was naturally funny to be that, or just took that character out
Character out.
altogether. That's the only thing that I find out that took away from the movie.
Now, did you see the Dolomite movie with Eddie Murphy and
Now, Dolomite movie, I like Dolomite movie. The
right?
Dolomite movie, it was real good. I think in that one, I think because Eddie Murphy played it so well. I think that the way that like that type of funny that he was doing in that one, because he was more like a bully than
Yeah,
anything like a bully or like really being arrogant, and
yeah,
you could see that in Wesley like being arrogant. So it
yeah,
almost
and
like it was natural more than kind of forced.
right. And they were saying
You
that
know what I
the
mean?
character that he played actually acted like that in real life and felt like he
Yeah.
was above everybody on the involved with the original Dolomite movie. They said that um, the guy that he portrayed acted just like that. They said he did a really good job because that's how the guy really was.
hmm Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Well, I think with the sequels, man, some should be made. That's like I heard somebody ask me, did I watch New Jack City Part 2? I was like, no.
It's out already.
It's
I didn't
already out.
realize it was out yet.
Mm. Well, it was some clips. It was some clips going around. They was like, no. Did you see any clips? I was like, no, man. It's just some movies I
Well,
think
well,
that's
before
that
you
are
say that,
classics.
the reason why I already don't like it, or don't or felt like I'm not gonna like it. So I don't know if the guy from Power from Raising Canaan. I don't know if you watched that show WR Raising Canaan,
Hmm.
but the uncle, the one that was the alcoholic and was gonna basically unalive himself in the last season.
Hmm.
He was the one that was writing the New Jack City, and he was going to take it overseas. And basically, I think it was going to be based out, I think, London or
Hmm.
Germany. And I was like, I don't know about
Mm-hmm.
that one. I'm like, I don't know. That's going to be because the dialogue and the all of
Right,
that is going to be real weird. And
right.
then with this America trying to understand, I'm pretty sure the drug selling, and because it wasn't even going to be based off of drug selling, it was going to be have involved in some cryptocurrency stuff. And I was like, what?
See,
Like
yeah,
it was
yeah,
real weird.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
so
see that
yeah.
one. And is it with
But
dude
anyway,
from what's the Marshall Ali? Is he still playing Nino Brown?
I mean that I
I
don't
think
know.
so. Yeah, I
Okay.
believe so.
Yeah,
I
That I
believe
don't
so.
know.
No, don't quote me on it. But I believe so.
right. See, that
Yeah. So
part of me wants to see it. Part of me is like, no.
I just don't think. Yeah, I just don't know, man.
Right.
So
But man,
let me ask both y'all a question real quick before we end it or whatever. We got to get out of here in a minute. Let me ask y'all both this question: do y'all believe it's better to do a part two or a redo, kind of like the Color Purple? Because I actually like the new Color Purple.
I didn't
I'm
see
not a
it.
good musical guy, but I felt like they did it the way they did the musical, the way they did the music. They didn't overdo it as far as like sometimes I watch a Tyler Perry play, they sing too long. It's like a 5 minute, 6 minute thing, and it's like, oh my god. And the Color Purple, it was maybe like a minute and a half, 2 minutes in most cases singing, and then they went on to the next thing. So do y'all like when they do like maybe like a remake when they kind of reenact everything and maybe change a couple of things here or there?
Sometimes, like I saw, okay, Superfly when they redid Superfly, and the guy from Grownish played
mhm.
Superfly. I liked it. I had seen the
Yeah,
original Superfly, and I saw this one. I still liked it. It didn't bother me, but when they
yeah.
said that they were redoing White Men Can't Jump, I said, "There's no way I'm
Uh,
going to watch."
it was cool for this day, but as far as it, they should have named. I told my son they should have called it something else. I just didn't like it. It was weird, very weird. The characters and the
Hmm.
way they were, it just was a weird dynamic the way they did it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? They took away from the like Woody Harrelson and being the way he was, and the way it was just like I didn't get it. I didn't get it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whatever. So, but I mean, but you know, I appreciate you coming on
No
and giving
problem
us
at
your
all.
time for Saturday. And I know you could be doing anything else. We're fooling us. We're fooling with us two crazy fools or whatever. And you decided to come on and give us your time, and I
Oh,
appreciate
no
whatever.
problem. I appreciate you guys having me on, and all I'm doing today is trying to stay warm.
Where you at?
I can
Columbus,
dig it.
Ohio.
I can dig it.
Where you at?
Columbus, Ohio.
Oh yeah. Do get kind of cold
Yeah.
out there. I'm in Dallas. Or
You locked up?
But he froze a little bit. He in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, okay.
But I'm in South Carolina, so
Oh, okay.
it's cold, but it ain't cold as Columbus, Ohio. I can tell you
No,
that.
it's like 13 degrees right now.
Yeah, man. So, oh my,
Oh,
that's wild. That's wild. So, but yeah, man. We definitely appreciate you coming on 95 South TV. We look to bring you back on, man. You know, as things progress for you, and we look for you to send your sons to us as well.
absolutely.
We would like to have an interview with them as well.
Okay, I got one
You
of them
know,
over here.
like to
You
give
heard that,
each of
right?
them their own space.
Okay. All right. I'm sure they'd appreciate that too.
All right, man. Thank you for your time.
No problem. Thank you for having me
Yes,
on.
sir. Yes, sir. I said yes, sir. Peace and blessings to you.
Peace. Have a good one.
You too.